former Buccaneer linebacker, now a football analyst with Fox Sports. Good old friend Ryan Nece joins us here. What's up, Ryan? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, my friend. How's everything on your end?
I'm sure a lot of Buccaneer fans are excited. Lovie Smith is back. First off, give me your initial thoughts on it.
As they should be. I mean, obviously, when you look at what happened in Tampa recently and the firing of Coach Schiano, and when you just take a step back from that from a minute, and when he came into this organization, a lot of people were shaking their heads and trying to figure out how did this guy get a job with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. When you looked at his resume, when you looked at his history, it didn't add up. But that being said, you know what? Everybody believed in him. He was a very committed guy, very convicted guy. Chose his words really wisely, very thorough, very detailed. And you said, you know what? Maybe we can rally behind this guy. Maybe we can believe in him. Maybe his history, maybe his record doesn't speak for itself. But nevertheless, things didn't play out the way that we hoped for. The fans had hoped for, the organization had hoped for, and they had to go in a different direction. Now, on the flip side, you look at what they're doing with Lovie Smith. You look at his record. You look at his history, his track record. You got to be excited. You got to be buying season tickets because this guy has an unbelievable track record. A lot of players, former players, have come out already and are excited that their coach is back in the league. A lot of former Bears, Urlacher, Briggs, Hunter Hillman, a lot of guys, a lot of linebackers that have played underneath him. Derek Brooks have all said great things, not only about him as a coach, but him as a man. And this is the kind of positive influence that we need in Tampa. And I'm extremely excited, as I think the rest of the city is. You hear a nice little buzz when his name was announced.
No question about it. Buccaneer fans have a bounce in their step to begin 2014, as they should. And what will Lovie's arrival mean for Gerald McCoy and Lavonte David? As a former linebacker, let's talk about Lavonte first. Had a terrific season, but now in Lovie Smith's Tampa 2, or some variation of that defense, what will this mean for Lavonte?
Well, he has an opportunity to take his game to the next level, and he did. He had a terrific year. Was one of the sparks in the defense, and that defense is very talented. Every one of those defensive players should be licking their chops and should be extremely excited. Should be text messaging, Facebook, and tweeting, doing whatever they can to get a hold of Lovie Smith and telling him how excited they are that he's coming in as their coach. And Lavonte David should lead the charge in that. I mean, when you think about him as a linebacker, a young guy, very athletic, very instinctual, has the opportunity now to take his game to that next level. And that next level is a Pro Bowl caliber guy. That next level is a guy that people talk about that's a game changer. That next level is, following in the footsteps of some of the great linebackers that we've had here in Tampa, from the Derek Brooks, the Hardy Nickersons, the Shelton Quarles, and so forth. That's why he's got to be extremely excited. This system is perfect for a guy like him to thrive and to make plays.
But I think you're right. I think he can get much better in this scheme. And what about Gerald McCoy? 9 sacks, another Pro Bowl season. Now he's going to be the 3 technique defensive tackle. Double-digit sacks in the offing for 2014, perhaps?
Well, he should be looking at this opportunity again. You're right. He was another Pro Bowl guy. An opportunity now to try to say, how can I become legendary? How can I find a way to carve my own path that people can remember me for years to come? And it'll happen in this type of system. That 3 technique, that's a position that's very, very crucial to the success of the Tampa 2 defense. And obviously, Lovie Smith is going to come in and run some variation, and it's not going to be the old bread and butter that we're all used to. He's going to have to morph some things. He's going to have to change some things. But that 3 technique is a crucial piece to the entire success. And that's going to fall. That pressure is going to fall on Gerald McCoy's shoulders. He's already come out and said he's the leader of the defense. He's already come out and said he's the guy that everybody should rally behind. This is an opportunity because I've had the opportunity to play with some great players that have played that 3 technique position better than anybody else that's ever played the game at that level. Gerald McCoy has all the ability, has the tools, has the fundamentals, has the work ethic, has the discipline and the drive and the commitment to become a legendary player at that position.
What does Lovie Smith and this defense mean for a guy like Darrelle Revis, Ryan? Because there's a lot of speculation out there. Bucs pay him a lot of money, more of a lockdown, man-for-man cover corner. The Tampa 2 requires the corners to be instinctual, play that zone, tackle, come up and run support. Those are all the things that Darrelle Revis does anyway, but Can the Buccaneers pay him that much money to be a cover 2 type of corner? Do you think he will stick around?
Well, that's something that he's going to have to assess personally and figure out if this is the type of system where he can thrive. Does it cater to his abilities to be the shutdown athletic corner that we all know that he can be? And I think that this is an opportunity for him to not only show that he can be a shutdown, lockdown corner, but can he be versatile? Can he take his game and adapt it to a Tampa 2 style mentality where he has to be aggressive in the run game? And he has all those abilities. He's shown that. He's demonstrated that. That's why he is one of the elite corners. That's why people paid him. So the Bucs paid him the money that they paid him, because he has the abilities to be an elite corner. I look back at the old Tampa system, and obviously a lot of people have focused on Rondé Barber, and Rondé was one of the best of all times to be able to not only play the corner but play the nickel position. He could play the run like a linebacker. He could blitz like a linebacker, but he could cover as well. But there was a guy that a lot of people forgot about in the Tampa system, and his name was Brian Kelly.
Right.
Brian Kelly was crucial to the success of the Tampa Bay defense during their long run, because he was a shutdown corner. When we had to go against a big-time wide receiver, when you had to go against one of the elite wide receivers that were out there in the NFL, Brian Kelly was the guy that was covering. He was the guy that was going to be in his face. He was the guy that was going to be harassing him. He was the guy that we could count on to shut that player down. And that really helped the entire defense, because you had to mix up some zones with some mans, and you needed a shutdown corner. Darrelle Revis can do that. He can do that in this system. And, you look at what was done in Chicago as well. They had shutdown corners. They had very athletic corners when Lovie Smith was up there as well.
Ron, you've been around this game. You've seen in recent years the quick one-year turnarounds. Can the Buccaneers, who went 4-12 this year, be a 9, even 10-win team next season and be a playoff type of team?
Well, we all hope that. We all hope for that, and we all think that there's a possibility of that. I think that the great part about Lovie coming in is, I think the one thing that was lost was the identity of the team. When people think about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they think about defense. And to me, we have to get back to that. And yeah, might be a little biased as a former linebacker in that system and a part of a defense that was a great defense. But I truly believe that with the players they have on defense, when they can get back to that identity, that this defense can carry them and can win them football games, I think that's going to be a very smart move, and I think it's going to help them get to that next level. I think there's some pieces on offense that you're going to have to address. You're going to have to find some more weapons, and you got to find a quarterback. Is Mike Glennon the guy? I'm not sure. He played well. He has the tools. He's a young guy. You make your biggest strides from year 1 to year 2. Will he be able to take this offseason as a professional and find a way to get better and take his game to becoming one of the elite quarterbacks? Because when you look at the NFC South, you're competing against Drew Brees. You're competing against Cam Newton. You're competing against Matty Ice Ryan. You're going to have some firepower on offense if you want to compete with these type of quarterbacks that are in the NFC South, just to give yourself a chance to win that division and find a way into the playoffs.
What quarterback should the Buccaneers bring in? With that being said, you're not sold on Mike Glennon. I think he had a good year for a third-round pick, a rookie, but I think they should bring in another quarterback. I've been banging the drum for Johnny Manziel, Johnny Football. I think he brings that type. I hear you laughing, so I think I know where this is going. I think he brings some style, some big playability. He can sell tickets, which I think is something that would be attractive to the Glazers. Give me your thoughts on Johnny Football.
Well, Johnny Football is a playmaker. I mean, and the guy, that's what he does. I mean, we can all say what we want to say about what he does off the field, and I have my own hesitations and criticisms about what he does with his self off the field. But on the football field, at the end of the day, the guy dazzles. The guy makes plays. The guy's a winner, and he's going to do everything he can to put his team in a position to win. He's a small guy. He's not that big of a player. When you start running around like that, T-Krabs, in the NFL, I'm telling you, there are 11 assassins on the other side of the ball that are trying to take you out. I don't know if he has the durability to run around and play the game like he does. We've already seen that with RG3. RG3 was an unbelievable quarterback, is an unbelievable quarterback, but all of a sudden, when you start taking hit after hit after hit, the toll it takes on you physically, it can slow you down, it can knock you out, it can prevent you from playing that position. I think Johnny Manziel can play. I just don't know if he's going to be able to play at the tempo or the style that we were so used to seeing him play and become accustomed to seeing him play in college. I think that there's some young guys, and I also think there may be some veteran players out there. Why not bring in a veteran player? Why not take a look at Cutler? Why not take a look at some of the other veteran quarterbacks that are out there and see if you can bring in somebody that has experience? I think that that's the thing at that position. Why, let's try not to roll the dice. We roll the dice in a lot of ways. Let's try to find a way to get somebody that we know has, you know what, this guy can give us 8 wins. This guy can give us 9 wins. We can count on him when the ball's in his hands to make plays, when he has the right weapons and the right protection around him. There's some better quarterbacks out there that can do that.
When you look at the way that you're playing, it's in the way that where you're observing him is from the snap to the whistle. How much effort are you giving in between there? Because if you look at your effort from snap to whistle and you're jogging, you're loafing, those things show up quickly on a football field, especially at the NFL level. You can't hide from that.
Nope.
Even
the film will find you.
The film's going to find you.
Yep.
You could be 4 or 5 players away from the ball carrier. You may not make the play, but if you're jogging and you're not putting in the effort to get to that ball carrier, I'm not talking you need to blow up somebody. But at the end of the day, you got to find a way to put in a little bit of effort. And I just, it's a tough situation, Ian. And the end of the year, you want to get the year over. You want to get it behind you, but you know it's your last game, and you got to put forth some effort. I mean, I was fortunate when you have leaders, and you talked about leadership, and how do you lead a 4-12 team? You lead a 4-12 team to find a way to play a little bit inspired on that last game. The last time that you band together as brother, last time that sometimes the guy next to you, the guy to your right and your left, you may never see them ever again in your life. It's your last time to walk on that field together. That's how you lead those guys.
See, leading to me, and we talk on air often about leadership. Okay, and the whole time I ever played sports, I never heard a leader say they're a leader. Not one time. Derek Brooks never said he was a leader. Hardy Nickerson never said he was a leader. He just, when the ball was snapped, they hit you in the mouth. Derek Brooks was a leader because you knew that Derek Brooks was going to do whatever he had to do to be in the right position, and he's going to be dependable, okay? Now, for somebody to say, I'm the leader, that's it. I don't like that whatsoever. I don't want to hear you're the leader. You want to be the leader of a 4-12 team? Just go out there and lead us to a victory, and everybody else will follow, okay? There's too much. Greg Shannon did this too much. That guy's a leader. I never heard Tony Dungy call anybody a leader. No. I've never, one time.
No, you got to earn that. I mean, you don't self-proclaim that. And the last thing you want to do is start tooting your own horn that you're a leader. The best thing that you can do as a leader is when other people go, man, you know what, Derek Brooks, like we're talking about right now, he was a leader.
Yep.
And he was a leader because he went out, he practiced like a professional. He never missed a practice. He carried himself a certain way. He had a certain standard. He had certain expectations. And when he was on that football field, he did things to find a way to get us a victory. And you were inspired by the way he played, by what he said, and by the way he carried himself. That was the leader. Brooks didn't go in the locker room and say, man, guys, I'm the leader.
Yeah, follow me.
Follow me. It was, none of the guys that we were around, or at least I had the opportunity, the pleasure to play with and line up next to, none of those guys did that. They just carried themselves a certain way. There was a standard about the way that they went to work every single day. And they never wavered. And that was the thing, and I think a lot of it started from Coach Dungy. The way that he carried himself, I think it trickled down all the way through all the players that we've had here, the great leaders, the great players. It's trickled down from him because he was so steadfast and he was so precise, and he had a certain conviction about the way he carried himself as a man and as a coach that the players saw that. And they said, I respect that, and I want to do that, and I want to implement that, and I want to emulate that in my own life. You got to find a guy that can see, long term, but understand the short-term goals. And the short-term goals is making certain necessary changes. Maybe it's a different quarterback. Maybe it's some new offensive weapons. Whatever those short-term goals and short-term things, to find a way to accomplish your long-term perspectives and dreams and aspirations of getting back to the Super Bowl, and implementing those things and executing those things right away. And then finding a way to get all these guys that have come back next year to believe in your system, to believe in your philosophies, and buy in. Because right now, you got a lot of guys right there in that locker room, they're fragile. They don't know what's going on. I've been through this. When you lose a coach, man, my job security is now in question.
Sure it is.
I had a relationship with that guy. This guy, we had a certain connection. Now all of a sudden, a new guy may come in, and he's going to look at things a little bit differently. So there's a lot of things that need to be secured over there, and confidence needs to be rebuilt. And that's why it's going to be very important to find the GM that's going to help rebuild that confidence and rebuild the vision of what Tampa Bay is.
I'm actually getting a little bit excited now because when I was thinking about it, we're talking about during the break, if I'm an offensive player and they would have retained Greg Schiano and Mike Sullivan and Mike Glennon, this is what you got to do to get me to play there.